Beyond the orbit of Neptune, silence reigned in the void. Stars shimmered coldly, distant guardians of forgotten worlds. Then, a whisper, a pattern among the radiation static, emerged. Deep Space Array 47 intercepted it, a pulse, rhythmic and intelligent. On Earth, in a dimly lit observatory in Chile, Dr. Alara Miles stared at the live signal stream, her breath hitching. She said, "This isn't natural. This is a message." Her assistant, Ravi, leaned closer. "From whom?" She replied, "Not from this galaxy." Hundreds of kilometers above them, an orbital AI satellite mirrored the signature and began decrypting. In a secluded war bunker in Geneva, General Kale watched the feed. "Activate Sentinel Protocol," he said, steel in his voice. As the message unfolded, a star map materialized, coordinates pointing to a dying nebula. And in that dying light, destiny stirred. Across the cosmos, the unseen began to move. And Earth, unaware, stood at the edge of awakening. In the deserts of Nevada, a military convoy roared through the dunes under the cloak of night. The trucks carried containment pods, glowing faintly from within. Inside the lead vehicle, Major Lian Shu, a stern 41-year-old Chinese woman in tactical gear, reviewed the signal fragments. She said, "This isn't the first contact. It's the first warning." Her second-in-command frowned. "You think they're already here?" Lian's eyes narrowed. "No. I think something else followed the signal." Above them, drones patrolled the sky, their sensors sweeping. A sudden spike on the monitor, the air shimmered ahead. A ripple, a shadow. The convoy braked as headlights revealed an empty humanoid exosuit, standing in the sand, powered but unmanned. It bore strange markings glowing in violet. Silence fell. The exosuit twitched. At an underground lab in Tokyo, 14-year-old tech prodigy Yuto Kei's sat alone among towers of servers. A stream of alien code danced across his retina-linked HUD. He whispered, "This isn't encryption. It's memory." He began mapping the patterns, and the symbols responded, as if aware. His mentor, Professor Saito, entered. "Yuto, what have you done?" Yuto stood slowly. "I think it's alive, and it's dreaming." As he activated the sequence, a projection filled the room. A planet no one had seen before, burned and lifeless, its surface cracked like dry bone. Then a voice echoed from the code. "We failed. Don't let them find Earth." The room went silent. Yuto's hands trembled. In the icy caverns of Antarctica, a drilling station rumbled with life. Geologist Dr. Marin Solvi, 45, rugged and fair-skinned with frost-laced hair, examined a crystal shard extracted from 300 meters below. Inside it pulsed a familiar signal. Her companion radioed, "Marin, that's not natural ice." She said, "It's not ice at all. It's storage." The shard vibrated, and a beam of light shot into the roof, carving alien glyphs into the cavern walls. Machinery failed. Lights died. The station plunged into darkness, except for the crystal's glow. A shape moved in the tunnel beyond. Something very old, waking up. In a forest hidden within the Carpathian Mountains, a cloaked man emerged from the mist. Arden, an immortal guardian cloaked in centuries-old armor, felt the tremor in the earth. "It has begun," he muttered. Ancient roots glowed beneath his boots, and runes lit across the trees. Animals fled. From a stone altar, a blade lifted itself and hovered, its edge glimmering with cosmic fire. A raven landed on Arden's shoulder. He looked to the sky. "They are calling," he said. "We must answer." From hidden groves across the world, the old guardians awoke, souls long bound to Earth's fate. Inside the sleek command dome of the United Earth Security Council, tensions sliced through the sterile air. The world's top leaders, generals and technocrats, hovered around a pulsating hologram of the decoded alien signal. President Amari Voss, a 48-year-old African-American woman with iron posture and silver-trimmed dreadlocks, said, We sit on a threshold between extinction and awakening. A Chinese delegate objected. We cannot trust its origin. It could be a trap. Voss raised a hand. And inaction is surrender. Across the room, factions whispered, alliances cracked. The Galactic Defense Coalition, meant to unite, now threatened to divide. From beneath the table, a quiet ping drew Voss's eyes. A hidden message. We've seen this pattern before. Her jaw clenched. Her voice steeled. Full lockdown. No one leaves this room until we know what's coming. In a temple hidden beneath the Romanian soil, Arden stood before the ancient blade now tethered to his life force. The sword pulsed with celestial light, its edge humming with energy older than stars. Whispered voices echoed off the chamber walls, fragments of guardians past. You were not the first, a voice said. Arden replied. But I may be the last. He reached toward the blade, and it split into two streams of light, testing him. Pain racked his body as memories not his own surged into his mind. Wars across galaxies, betrayals, sacrifice. Arden fell to one knee, gasping. Then the blade reformed, hovering again. You have endured, said the voice. Awaken what remains. Light burst from the chamber roof, and runes across the mountain ignited. The old powers stirred. Yuto Kaze sat cross-legged, inside a neural-link chamber, dozens of neural wires connected to his temples. The alien code now vibrated at audio frequencies, modulating between visuals and sounds. It's not just memory, he whispered. It's emotion. Professor Saito monitored the waves, astonished. These are harmonics of grief. Entire star systems mourning. Yuto's breath quickened as he slipped deeper into the stream. The chamber dissolved around him, replaced by a ghostly vision of an alien city. Golden towers crumbled under violet skies, a sea of starlight falling in slow motion. He saw beings like smoke and light weeping. Then, a new voice emerged. Different. Cold. Dial. They followed us. A flash of black. Yuto screamed, his body convulsing. Then silence. Heart monitor flatlined for 2 seconds, then spiked back. He gasped. They're not gone. They're already coming. Beneath Geneva's surface, in a classified excavation beneath the council's seat, technicians revealed a buried anomaly. Embedded within the rock was a structure, not human, not modern, etched with markings identical to the signal glyphs. General Kale observed silently. His cybernetic eye recorded everything. You said this was discovered last year, he asked. A geologist replied, more like decades ago, sir. It's just been classified since World War II. Kale's jaw tightened. The object, smooth black metal and still humming, suddenly emitted a pulse. Everyone froze. It matched the alien signal perfectly. Then the pulse triggered a projection, a starship shaped like a blade, splitting in orbit above a blue planet. Earth was seen before, Kale murmured, and judged. The projection faded, and the structure began to unlock. At the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, a deep-sea probe transmitted unexpected readings, sonar distortions forming symmetrical spirals. In a command vessel above, marine researcher Dr. Aisha Nayam, a 37-year-old Kenyan marine biologist, furrowed her brow. It's not geological. This pattern repeats in prime intervals. As she spoke, the sonar feed glitched, then displayed a three-dimensional construct, an aquatic city buried in the trench, dome structures still intact. Is that a city? Someone gasped. Then the probe's light flashed, revealing an enormous carved eye, staring back. The signal reversed, sending data up. Dr. Nyambi whispered, "It's not just alive, it's waiting." The sea trembled. A deep vibration shook the hull. Lights flickered. Then, calm. But the ocean no longer felt empty. In the vast black between galaxies, a derelict ship drifted, its hull scarred, lights dim, but its core reactor still humming with residual power. Inside, stasis pods lined the chamber, each covered in frost. One pod blinked amber, then green. With a hydraulic hiss, the lid opened. Commander Liza Wren, 34, mixed-race Martian-born woman with short crimson hair and a hardened expression, gasped awake. Her last memory, the collapse of Helion 6 died. She stumbled out, her suit lighting automatically. "Ship." "Report," she rasped. A broken AI voice replied. 72 years. Status, unknown. A viewing screen flickered on. The alien signal played again, and in it she saw her own face. "Impossible," she whispered. The ship shuddered. Something had boarded. Liza turned, hand reaching for her pulse rifle. "Show yourself." On a moon orbiting the gas giant Crethon, a mining outpost erupted in chaos. Flames licked the ceiling as evacuation alarms blared. Within the collapsing tunnels, technician Harlan Reeve, 42, Caucasian male with graying hair and soot-covered face, dragged a wounded crewmate. "Come on, Cass, stay with me," he yelled. Behind them, molten rock swallowed the scaffolds. But, amid the collapse, something alien pulsed in the stone, crystal veins glowing in rhythm with the signal. Cass coughed. "That wasn't here before." Harlan turned. The walls shimmered. From within the crystal, holographic images flickered. Stars dying, worlds burning, and a black monolith floating silently. Harlan's voice cracked. "This moon's not just alive, it's remembering." Then the ceiling gave way, and the crystal flared white. In Antarctica, Marin Solvi sat alone beside a frozen cliff face etched with symbols. Snow whipped through the wind, stinging her cheeks. The shard she'd recovered earlier pulsed again, brighter this time. She placed it against the ice. The wall responded. A panel melted inwards, revealing a chamber hidden for eons. Inside, an obsidian humanoid figure lay dormant, suspended mid-air by glowing threads of ice light. Marin's breath caught. "It's a sentinel." As she stepped closer, the figure twitched. It wasn't dead. Suddenly, its eyes lit, twin orbs of molten silver. Marin stepped back. "You're awake." The figure opened its mouth, but no sound came. Instead, it projected stars, Earth among them, surrounded by others now lost. Her pulse raced. The ice cracked. Something beneath them stirred. Arden reached the ruins of a forgotten city in the Carpathians, hidden beneath moss and silence. Massive stone statues of celestial warriors stood cracked and broken. Ravens circled overhead, their calls echoing like warnings. "This is where the others fell," Arden said softly. He knelt before a shattered obelisk bearing his name, chiseled by hands long dead. Runes flared on his gauntlet, responding to the city's latent energy. A door opened behind the obelisk, descending into black. Arden drew his blade. "I must remember what was buried." As he entered, spirits of fallen guardians shimmered along the walls, watching. One whispered, "The darkness never left. It only changed its face." Deeper he went, toward the pulsing core of ancient truth. In the observatory in Chile, Elara stared at the star map, now alive with motion. The signal's algorithm had rewritten itself overnight, drawing paths across galaxies. Ravi stood beside her. "These aren't routes, they're warnings." She nodded. "This isn't where to go, it's where not to." One by one, stars dimmed on the map, systems lost or consumed. Then, a dot near Earth flared crimson. A direct path. "It's coming here," Elara said. Fast. The room shuddered. An atmospheric tremor. Above them, clouds spiraled unnaturally. The AI satellite sent a new feed. Something had entered the solar system. Vast, slow, ancient. Elara's eyes stayed fixed on the map. This signal wasn't a message. It was a countdown. In the Mariana Trench, a secondary expedition arrived, following Dr. Niam's last transmission. Her vessel floated powerless, lights dimmed, but hull intact. Inside, all crew were gone. The only sound, a steady, low-frequency hum. Divers descended. One paused as strange bioluminescent glyphs lit along the trench wall. They pulsed in response to the explorers' heartbeats. A remote camera fed visuals to the surface, a spiral gate in the trench floor, slowly rotating. Then a voice, Nyayam's, echoed from the deep. "It's not a city, it's a cradle. And it's waking up." The trench rumbled. Water pressure shifted. From the gate emerged an enormous organic construct, smooth and shell-like, rising with intent. A pilotless craft, or a seed. Above, ocean currents reversed. The earth stirred in anticipation. Commander Liza Wren sat inside the fractured hull of her drifting ship, now stabilized near Mars. From orbit, the red planet looked unchanged, but her instruments told another story. The surface emitted new readings, ancient radiation patterns, same frequency as the alien signal. Liza rerouted power, forced a landing. She stepped onto the Martian soil with practiced precision. The coordinates led her to a jagged canyon. And there it was, a blackened scar in the land, unnaturally symmetrical, miles long. She said aloud, "This isn't a crater, it's a scar, a wound, healed over." As she approached the center, her gauntlet lit up, synchronizing with the energy field. Something below stirred, vibrating through her bones. Then a voice from her past whispered in her ear, "Welcome back, Liza." Inside the Tokyo lab, Yuto sat on the floor, knees drawn to his chest. His skin shimmered faintly with embedded glyphs, residue from prolonged signal exposure. Professor Saito examined scans. "Your neural pathways are changing. They're rewriting you." Yuto didn't flinch. "I'm not scared, I feel them. The ones who came before." He raised a hand, and the air above him fractured like glass. From the rift, ghost-like figures emerged, tall, fluid beings of starlight. "They were archivists," Yuto whispered. "They recorded everything. Every fall." One spirit turned to him. It bowed. "He's not just decoding the signal," Saito said, breath caught. "He's becoming part of it." Outside the lab, machines started operating without command. The code was evolving, and Yuto was its living node. Beneath the Romanian ruins, Arden entered a hall of murals carved in light, memories trapped in stone. Each wall depicted the rise and fall of civilizations, guardians consumed by war, hope lost. At the far end stood a dais with a stone bowl filled with thick black liquid. Runes flickered overhead. "This is the oath of flame," Arden said. "To speak it is to bind your fate." He removed his gauntlet, placed his hand in the liquid. It sizzled, binding with his blood. Visions flooded his mind, his past lives, battles he had forgotten, names long erased. "The darkness has many faces," the murals whispered. "And it wears yours." As the last rune ignited, a tear traced down Arden's face. He turned back toward the surface. "Let the flame remember me." Above the clouds of Earth, the orbital AI satellite completed its final calculation. The signal had reached maximum clarity, and resolution revealed more than just origin. It showed intent. The II's interface displayed a path, an object inbound at FTL speed, decelerating unnaturally. It wasn't a meteor. It was shaped, designed, a Sentinel-class vessel. The satellite pulsed an alert to Earth's defense net, but too late. The object skipped past orbital defenses as if cloaked. Then it stopped, hovered. Widen dial. Visible now. A single figure exited, humanoid, wrapped in luminous armor, wings of light stretching behind. The world watched. No weapons were drawn. Instead, the figure opened its arms and spoke through every frequency. "You are not alone, but you are unprepared." Deep beneath the Pacific, the spiral cradle opened fully. From it emerged a towering structure, smooth, shell-like plates layered like petals, rising slowly from the trench into the open sea. Dr. Aisha Naam, they now found, stood silently in a pressure-sealed chamber within the structure, untouched by time or water. It responded to my thoughts, she whispered. It called me. Probes around her malfunctioned. Her vitals remained stable but altered. She no longer needed her oxygen mask. Symbols scrolled over the walls, dynamic, reactive. A voice echoed, "Life remembers." She looked through a glass-like membrane into the ocean, where the structure extended downward, endlessly. This is older than Earth, she realized. But it knew we were coming. The lights dimmed, and then suddenly surged outward, transmitting. Back in Tokyo, Professor Saito analyzed the new pulses from the trench. They're not just broadcasting anymore, they're searching. Yuto remained still, eyes glowing faintly. They're not looking for us, he murmured. They're looking for each other. The frequencies aligned, ocean, Mars, Antarctica, Romania, forming a perfect cross pattern through Earth's core. It is synchronization, Saito said, astonished. Then new pulses appeared, ones they hadn't initiated. Yuto stood. Something else is responding, but it doesn't belong. In the holographic map, a dark wave spread from the outer system, opposing the signal's harmony. Saito turned pale. It's anti-pattern, a null wave. Yuto's voice shook. If it reaches Earth first, the signal ends. The lab's lights dimmed. The countdown had begun. Liza Wren followed the Martian canyon deeper into its heart. Her path ended at a rusted gate, half buried in red stone. She activated her gauntlet. The door responded. Inside, cryochambers long inactive lined the walls, and fragments of helium-6 uniforms lay scattered in dust. She whispered, "This wasn't a crash. It was exile." A terminal flickered on. It showed a transmission log, her own voice, over 70 years old. "If we fail, seal it. No one must remember." Lysa froze. "I erased this." Her memories surfaced, half-formed, violent. She had sealed survivors away. A sound echoed, metal groaning. Then a face appeared in the dark, hers. Another version. Younger, colder. The projection spoke. "You made your choice. Now live with it." Lysa dropped her rifle. What did I become? Arden returned from the blood oath chamber, but something within him had shifted. Power now burned colder. In the ruined forest, his steps echoed unnaturally. Birds no longer sang. The sword he carried pulsed with a dim, heavy glow. A voice, his own but twisted, spoke from within. "You've been marked." Arden gritted his teeth. "I took the oath to defend, not consume." The forest answered with silence. Then a woman stepped from the trees. Cloaked, eyes like smoke. "Your flame draws more than light, it casts shadows too." She revealed her blade, nearly identical to Arden's. "We were chosen together. You just forgot." Arden's blade flared. So did hers. Twin lights clashed for a heartbeat before stillness. "The time is coming," she said, vanishing in a blink. Arden stood alone, but no longer certain of himself. In Geneva, President Voss stared at the skies through reinforced glass. All major observatories, labs, and satellites were reporting the same, a signal crescendo. The Earth was humming. "We're crossing into something," she whispered. Military screens showed mass power fluctuations. Animals migrated in perfect lines. Magnetic fields twisted. We were never alone, but we were never ready. She looked at the assembled leaders. "We send a message back." A councilman objected. "And if we invite something worse?" She stepped forward. "It's already here." Ilara's voice came through a secure line. "The transmission is about to peak. We either harmonize or vanish." Voss nodded. "Send it." A single tone rang out. The stars flickered, and across the galaxy, doors began to open. The deep-sea cradle had fully emerged, towering like a cathedral of light above the ocean floor. Inside, Dr. Nyambe stood in a chamber pulsing with synchronized rhythm, surrounded by rising holograms of extinct species, human and alien. "It's a memory chamber," she said aloud, but it's singing. The vibrations intensified, creating harmony with her heartbeat. The walls formed a 360-degree projection, worlds rising, dying, repeating in a cycle. They archived life before endings, she whispered. But then one world flashed red, Earth. The harmony shifted. A deep note cut through. There is dissonance, a voice warned. The images collapsed and the floor trembled. Something had infiltrated the cradle. A black shadow formed on one wall. Now raised her hand. You're not part of this memory, she said. The shadow pulsed violently. The cradle began to fracture. On Mars, Lysa Wren climbed to the edge of the symmetrical canyon. Lightning arced unnaturally in the thin sky, and the ground cracked beneath her. Below, the scar she had found opened like a blooming flower of stone. Inside, a pulse, slow and methodical, beat from a buried monolith. The Martian dust swirled upward, and from the monolith rose a second version of her armor, sleek, silver-black, perfect. She whispered, "Prototype Delta." Her last mission's ghost. The AI interface within spoke. "Operator Wren, conflict detected." The suit locked eyes with her. It wasn't empty. It remembered her. "You sealed me here," it said, voice hers, but hollow. Lysa replied, "Because you were me at my worst." The monolith flared. Choice approached. The prototype lifted its blade. "Then let's finish this." In Antarctica, Marin Salvi returned to the crystalline cave, but now the floating sentinel stood active. It reached toward her with a beam of soft blue light. "You carry the resonance," it said, though its mouth never moved. "You remember the ice." Marin, confused, asked, "Who are you?" It responded with a projection. Earth, in layers, its history folded like pages. It showed her an early version of humanity being observed, shaped. "You were not firstborn," it said, "but you were chosen." Marin reached toward the beam. Her veins lit. I've seen this place in dreams." The sentinel whispered, "You were once part of the archive. We are returning you." Her mind surged. Knowledge poured in. The chamber became a vault of sound and stars. Outside, seismic activity spiked. The ice no longer held. Arden stood at the summit of the stone circle, the heart of the Guardians. The raven had returned, perching beside him. In the center, the sword burned white-blue, suspended. Around it, spectral forms of past Guardians assembled. "The convergence nears," one spirit said. "The old pact must be reforged." Arden stepped forward. "We are scattered. Lost." A young Guardian spirit replied, "Not lost. Dormant." He closed his eyes. The mountain's roots thrummed. Trees glowed with inner fire. The raven cawed once, and then turned into a beam of light, fusing with the sword. Flames spread across Arden's armor. The other Guardians merged into him. "You are the last vessel," the voices echoed. "But not the last hope." Arden opened his eyes. Twin rings of fire and light spiraled within. "Then I go to the stars," he said. Yuto stood atop a skyscraper in Tokyo, alone, eyes scanning the stars. "They're coming," he said. Below, the city was unaware. Lights flickering, signal towers buzzing softly. He lifted both hands. A sphere of light formed, vibrating in tune with the alien frequencies. From the sky, pinpoints of energy rained down, beams connecting with places tied to the cradle. Mars, the ocean, Antarctica, Romania. "The echo has returned," he whispered. Then, behind him, the null wave formed, pitch black, spiraling, pulsing with entropy. Yuto turned. "You're early." A voice, deep and dissonant, spoke. "You are incomplete. Your pattern defies correction." Yuto narrowed his eyes. "I'm not a pattern, I'm the choice." The sphere flared. The rooftop fractured. And then the stars blinked. The Sentinel vessel entered Earth's atmosphere, trailing luminous threads that bent clouds and sky alight. It descended in silence, witnessed by millions, yet causing no harm. In Geneva, President Voss stood outside the council bunker, eyes fixed upward. "No resistance," she whispered. "It wants to be seen." From the vessel, the radiant figure emerged again, its form clearer now. Neither machine nor flesh, but memory, woven light and encoded will. It landed in the center of an ancient symbol, etched into the earth, uncovered by shifting tectonics. The signal pulsed, once, twice. Then the figure spoke, audible in every language. "This world holds the last gate." Voss stepped forward. "Gate to what?" it replied. "Judgment, or union." In orbit, the null wave loomed behind, coiling, waiting. Earth's moment of balance had arrived. In a convergence chamber that formed where none existed before, above time and beneath space, the chosen stood together. Ilera, Arden, Yuto, Lysa, and Nam. They faced a sphere of pure consciousness, born from the signal, shimmering with multiversal memory. It spoke in chords, not words. Each of them saw visions, other Earths that failed, some that thrived. "You must choose," it said. "Preserve your world's pattern, or become something more." Yuto reached forward. "We've always been part of something greater." Lysa said, "We just forgot." Nambai whispered, "Let memory become future." Arden lowered his blade. "Let the flame guide." Alera added, "Then we speak with one voice." Together, they touched the sphere. Light exploded. In that moment, Earth reconnected, not with an empire, but with a memory once exiled. The null wave struck, just as the five made contact. But instead of consuming, it recoiled. The harmonized signal now amplified, layered by human emotion, memory, hope. The wave trembled, its perfect entropy disrupted. Across the sky, auroras formed, wild and vibrant, reacting to the clash of frequencies. Over Tokyo, Yuto's rooftop disintegrated into streams of binary light, but he floated calmly. In the ocean, the cradle's fractures sealed. On Mars, the monolith shut. Antarctica stilled. Romania burned brighter than fire. The null convulsed, shrieked, a universal scream, and imploded inward, not in defeat but in transformation. What was once void became seed. The balance held. And Earth, forgotten among stars, was remembered as a source, not a mistake. Silence followed. No alarms. No war. No loss. Just wind through leaves. Sunlight on oceans. The sentinel ship dissolved into motes of gold and scattered into the wind. In Geneva, Voss wept quietly. "We survived," she said. But more than that, something had changed. Children woke remembering stars. Machines began dreaming in new languages. In Tokyo, Yuto painted his visions on the lab walls. In the Carpathians, Arden disappeared into the forest. The earth turned, old, alive, aware. The guardians dispersed. Not to hide but to wait. Humanity had not been saved. It had been invited. And for now, it was enough. The signal stopped. No more data. No more warnings. Just peace and possibility. Far from Earth, among stars older than any civilization, another beacon flickered, receiving the signal Earth had sent. In a crystalline vessel of impossible geometry, beings of light stirred. "The fracture healed," one said. Another replied, "They chose union." A third added, "They are ready." The signal echoed outward, not as a cry, but a call. Back on Earth, Elara stood on a coastal cliff, wind in her hair. She looked up as starlight shimmered in full spectrum. "We're not alone," she said. "We never were." The stars blinked, one by one, like eyes slowly waking. And somewhere far, far beyond, new gates opened. The heroes of Earth had passed the first test. What came next was everything.